Hi, hello, good evening to all. So today in this lecture session, I will take you through the very important concept for all the competitive examinations. So that is Insolvency Bankruptcy Code 2016. Okay, let's begin the session. Yes. Yeah. So there is an important topic for all the competitive examinations. Here we discuss Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Insolvency, Bankruptcy, Code 2016. Yeah. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. So dear friends, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016, in this particular legislation, so we would be able to analyze the terms, some of the terms which are used in this particular law. Okay, so now let's understand some of the terminologies which comes under this particular code. Okay, so among them, the first important one is insolvency. Insolvency. Clear? Yeah. So insolvency is when an individual or organization is unable to meet his or its outstanding financial debt towards its lender as it becomes due. Is it clear? So insolvency is nothing but when an individual or organization is unable to meet its outstanding financial debt. Yeah, the outstanding financial debt. Financial debt. Okay. So when an organization, when a firm has taken the loan from different lenders, okay, the situation under which an individual or organization is unable to meet its obligation of the financial debt. This is particularly which is known as insolvency. Clear? Yeah. So now we have one more important, very important concept, which is referred in this code, in this law, that is called bankruptcy. 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 Clear? Yeah. Bankruptcy is a legal proceedings. Bankruptcy is a legal proceedings for liquidating a business which cannot be fully paid its debts. Clear? I repeat. Bankruptcy is a legal proceeding for winding up of the business, the particular business which cannot be fully paid its outstanding debt. So this particular situation, so which is known as bankruptcy. So bankruptcy, as I told you, it is a legal proceedings. It is a legal proceedings. Proceedings. Okay. Insolvency is nothing but when an individual or organization is unable to meet its financial obligation, that is known as debt. Okay, the situation under which an individual or any business which is unable to meet its obligations of the financial debt towards its lender. So this is particularly known as insolvency. Okay, the particular organization which is not able to meet its obligation of financial debt. So that particular organization is known as, particular organization becomes insolvent. Clear? Insolvency is a situation under which a business or any individual who is unable to meet its outstanding financial debt towards its lender, okay, as it become due. So this is known as insolvency. Now, what is bankruptcy? Bankruptcy is a legal proceedings. So whenever the business becomes insolvent, when the business becomes insolvent, and a person who is unable to meet its, when the person who is unable to meet his or her obligation of the financial debt, he or she could be considered as insolvent. Against the insolvent, there is a legal proceedings, okay, in order to winding up of the particular business which has become insolvent. So this particular term which is often we use in this code, that is called bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is a legal proceedings in order to wind up of the company because the financial debt obligations could not be able to make out. Yeah, so that is very important, bankruptcy. Now, so one more important the term which could be used in this particular law, that is known as liquidation. Liquidation. Okay. So liquidation is just, it is a process. It is a process of bringing a business to an end. Okay. So that means liquidation is nothing but insolvent business will be ended. Insolvent business will be ended. That process we call it as liquidation. Okay, the particular business which has become insolvent. So due to the insolvency of the particular business, entire asset of the business will be liquidated. It is just winding up of the company. The process under which how we do winding up of the company, this is known as liquidation. Is it clear? I repeat once again. Liquidation is a process of a company to an end. Company become insolvent. So therefore, certain legal proceedings which will be commencing in order to winding up of the company so that the company's assets will be liquidated and whatever the asset whatever the cash or liquid we get, so that will be distributed among the creditors. This is known as liquidation. Is it clear? Yeah. So one more important the concept or the terminology so that we come across under this particular code is known as information utilities. Information utilities. Information utilities. So when you are able to clear, when you are able to crystal clear of these particular terminologies, it would be easy for you to understand the particular Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. So that is the reason in the beginning itself I have taken up the very important the terminologies which are being used in the particular code. Okay, so that is one such important term that is known as information utilities, right? Okay, information utility, it is a registered entity. Yeah, information utility, it is a registered entity. Okay, information utility is a registered entity for the purpose of providing core services like accepting, recording, authentication and verification of the financial information, those financial information which have been submitted by the corporate, providing access to the information stored the person as may be prescribed, as may be specified. Okay, is it clear? Yeah, information utility is an entity, it is a registered business house. Okay, so basically this particular business house, it is providing some core services in the process of liquidating the business. Okay, the business which has become insolvent, in the liquidation process, what are the information required in this particular process? All such information which will be provided to the particular authority which has been specified under the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Here, so because this particular entity which has been accepted and recorded all the authenticated financial information that is given by the business. Okay, so whenever the bankruptcy process, bankruptcy legal proceedings will be commencing against such businesses. Okay, to the person, okay, to the particular person which has been specified in the law, this information utility is providing all the information in order to ease of doing business. Okay, so legal proceeding against an insolvent business, in such process some information which is required, that information given by the information utilities to such person which has been prescribed, which has been specified under the law. Is it clear? It is a registered entity, it has certain financial data with regard to the business which has become insolvent. Okay, so that information will be provided in the process. Yeah, so that is also a very important concept which we come across, the information utilities. Okay, yeah. So one more important, very important, the term that is called as financial creditors. Financial creditors. Financial creditors. Dear friends, you need to understand very clearly, a person who has given the debt, the person who has given the debt towards corporate, he or she can be called as creditor. Is it clear? Yeah. The person who has been lent, okay, that particular institution or any business house or any banks, which we call it as financial creditors. Is it here? Financial creditors are those who have purely financial contract with the corporate. Is it clear? Yeah. Financial creditors is nothing but the banks. The banks which have been provided the loans, the fund or money towards the business entity. Okay, so the banks which have been provided the finance or the fund towards the business entity. So those financial institutions or banks which we call it as financial creditors. Is it clear? Yeah. So one more important terms which we come across under this code, that is called as operational creditors. Operational creditors. Okay. Operational creditors. Dear friends, the people or any business entity who has been obligation to the firm emerges from the operation related transactions. Suppose the employees of the business, okay, towards the employees of the business, the business or corporate which has some due. Since last 3 months, these employees have not been given salaries. Okay, so these employees are also have to get the finance from the company. Okay, so those employees which come under operational creditors, since they have not given any financial aid, the financial the support to the business entity, but okay, out of the operation, so it is an obligation of the business entity which has to render the salaries on time to the employees. If the business entity which could not able to provide, which could not able to give the salaries or wages towards the employees, and those employees which comes under operational creditors. Okay, so they have due. The company has due towards the employees. Okay, there are certain business entities or there are certain people who have supplied the raw materials to the business. So they have to get the payment. There is a payment due towards the raw material suppliers. Okay, so they have to get their payment. So the raw material suppliers who are also come under operational creditors. Okay, so there are such other the people from outside the business, okay, who have been the company has been obligated to make the payment to some people, okay, towards some people. So those people may be outside the business or inside the business. They are called operational creditors. Okay, so this is one of the important concepts we need to understand very clearly. Okay, yeah. Now let's move on to one more important concept or terms which has been used in the particular law. That is called as IBI. Okay, IBI. Okay, so dear friends, this information, okay, so this particular IBBI, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, is it clear? So this particular board, okay, which is having the regulatory body, which is considered as a regulatory body towards professionals, insolvency professionals and insolvency professional agencies and information utilities, so which have been set up under this particular code. Okay, so this particular board which will be having the regulations towards all the people like insolvency professionals, okay, insolvency professionals, number one, and insolvency professional agencies, insolvency professional agencies, and information utilities. Okay, so these are the people. Okay, so like insolvency professionals, insolvency professional agencies, and information utilities. Okay, in the process of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, in the process of liquidation, in the process of legal proceedings against the insolvent business. So there is a proceeding. So under this proceeding, so we have come across some people, some regulatory bodies. Okay, so like insolvency professionals, insolvency professional agencies, and information utilities. These are the regulatory bodies. These are the important agencies or any business entities which so we have been set up under this particular code. Okay, so this IBBI, it is this particular board, it has the regulations towards all these organizations, right? Insolvency professionals, insolvency professional agencies, and information utilities. Okay, so in the legal proceedings, so we have been created. So these people, these authorities, all these authorities, EB is considered as regulatory body. Okay, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India will be having the regulatory authority over all these bodies which have been created in the legal proceedings against the insolvent business house. Is it clear? Yeah. Okay. So, ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಈ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ರಪ್ಸಿ ಕೋಡ್ 2016 ಈ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕೋಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕಾನೂನು ಏನು ಇದೆ, ಆ ಲಾ ಏನಿದೆ, ಆ ಕೋಡ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ವಿ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಟರ್ಮಿನಾಲಜೀಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರನೇ ಓಕೆ ಸೊ ನಾವು ಈ ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ರಪ್ಸಿ ಕೋಡ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರಣದಿಂದ ಬಿಗಿನಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭದಲ್ಲೇ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಟರ್ಮಿನಾಲಜೀಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಹಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ IBC 2016 ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಟರ್ಮಿನಾಲಜೀಸ್ ನಾನು ಎತ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಮುಖವಾಗಿ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಓಕೆ ಸಾಲ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತದೆ, ಸರಿಯಾದ ಸಮಯಕ್ಕೆ ಆ ಸಾಲವನ್ನು ವಾಪಸ್ಸು ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ, ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಓಕೆ ಅಂತ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಹೌಸ್ ನಾವು ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ದಿವಾಳಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾವುದು ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿ ತಾನು ಏನು ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಹಣಕಾಸಿನ ಸಹಾಯವನ್ನು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳಿಂದ ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತದೆ, ಆ ಒಂದು ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಡೆಟ್ ಏನಿರ್ತದೆ, ಆ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಡೆಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ತೀರಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗದೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂತಹ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎಂಟಿಟಿನ ನಾವು ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಂಬರ್ 1. ನಂಬರ್ 2, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ರಪ್ಸಿ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ರಪ್ಸಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಯಾವ ಒಂದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಎಂಟಿಟಿ ಸಾಲವನ್ನು ತೀರಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗದೇ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಗೆ ಬಂದು ನಿಂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ, ಅಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿನ ನಾವು ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ಸಾಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ, ಅವರು ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್, ಆ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸ್ವತಃ ಕಂಪನಿನೇ ಆ ವೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ಗೆ ಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. ಅಥವಾ ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್, ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಸಾಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಲೀಗಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ತರಬಹುದು ಅಗೇನೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಹೌಸ್. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಆ ಒಂದು ಲೀಗಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನ್ ಕರಿತೇವೆ, ಲೀಗಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ಕಂಪನಿ ಒಂದು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಕಂಪನಿನ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ದಿವಾಳಿ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕಂಪನಿನ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಲೀಗಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ತಂದಿರ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ, ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ರಪ್ಸಿ. ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಓಕೆ. ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡೇಷನ್. ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ದ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸಾಲ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತದೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಸಾಲ ತೀರಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗದೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಗೆ ದಿವಾಳಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ಅಂತ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಒಂದು ಆಸ್ತಿಗಳೇನಿರ್ತದೆ, ಆ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಆಸ್ತಿಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾರಿ, ಓಕೆ, ಯಾರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸಾಲ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಹಂಚತಕ್ಕಂತ ಒಂದು ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್. ಇದೊಂದು ಕ್ರಿಯೆ, ಇದೊಂದು ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟೀಸ್. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್, ಓಕೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್, ಈ ಒಂದು ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಸೊ ಈ ಒಂದು ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಸಾಲ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಒಂದು ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಹಲವಾರು ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಸಾಲ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಆ ಸಾಲವನ್ನು ತೀರಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗದೆ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ನಿರ್ಮಾಣ ಆಯ್ತು. ಅಂತ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ, ಆ ಒಂದು ಲೀಗಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ ನ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್, ಈ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ನ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಆ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್, ಆ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್. ಓಕೆ, ಆ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಹಾಯ ಹಸ್ತವನ್ನು ಚಾಚುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಿಗೆ, ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಓಕೆ, ದ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಅಂತಹ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್, ಓಕೆ, ದ ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅನ್ನು ಒದಗಿಸ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಎಂಟಿಟಿನ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟೀಸ್. ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಓಕೆ. ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳು ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ಗೆ ಹಣಕಾಸಿನ ಒಂದು ನೆರವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಹಣಕಾಸಿನ ನೆರವನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವ್ರು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. Is it clear? Okay. Next, ಇದೊಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಟರ್ಮಿನಾಲಜಿ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಕಮ್ ಅಕ್ರಾಸ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಪರೇಷನಲ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್. ಆಪರೇಷನಲ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ಈ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್, ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್, ಈ ಒಂದು ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ ನಡಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ಹಣಕಾಸಿನ ಸಹಾಯ ಅಲ್ದಲೇನೆ, ಈಗ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಕೈಲಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಶ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಹಾಕಿರ್ತಾರೆ. The service which is being rendered by the employees, okay, in return they have to get the payment. Is it clear? In return they have to get the salary or wages. Okay, ಆ ಒಂದು ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ರಾ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ಎನಿ ದ ಕಂಪನಿ ಯಾವೆಲ್ಲ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳ ಔಟ್ಸೈಡ್ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತದೆ, ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರವಾಗಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಒಪ್ಪಂದಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅವ್ರ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಸೇವೆಗಳನ್ನು ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ರಾ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈಯರ್ಸ್ or it may be any financial services which has been rendered by other financial institutions and ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಾವು ಆಪರೇಷನಲ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೇವೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅವರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಅವರು ಹಣಕಾಸಿನ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡಿರಲ್ಲ, ಆದ್ರೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ತಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಸೇವೆಯನ್ನು ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಹೌಸ್ಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? ಓಕೆ. So in the legal proceedings against the insolvent business, okay, so ನಾವು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟರಿ ಬಾಡೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೋಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲ್ ಏಜೆನ್ಸೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು, ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟೀಸ್. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆನಲ್ಲಿ, ಓಕೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ರಪ್ಸಿ, ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ರಪ್ಸಿ ಕೋಡ್ 2016 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಲೀಗಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಆಗ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಈ ಒಂದು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟರಿ ಬಾಡೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಅವು ಅಸ್ತಿತ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ. ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಐಪಿಎಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟೀಸ್, ಈ ಮೂರಕ್ಕೂ ಒಂದು ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಟರಿ ಬಾಡಿ, ನಿರ್ದೇಶನ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಬಾಡಿ ಇದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಇಬಿ. ಇಬಿ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ರಪ್ಸಿ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಇಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್? Sorry. Okay. So let's move on. The particular. So let's move on to the some concept we need to understand under the introductory part. Okay. The introduction of this particular topic. So we need to understand some of the important concepts under the introduction of IBC 2016. Okay. Yeah. Now let's understand something about the introduction to the particular topic. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016. Okay. So here, so now let's understand some of the concepts which comes under the introductory part of this concept. Introduction. Okay, let's understand something about the introduction to the IBC 2016. Okay, so this particular IBC came into effect on 28th May 2016. Clear? IBC 2016 came into effect on 28th May 2016. So that is very important thing. And why this particular IBC came into existence? Why IBC? What are the objectives? What are the aims? Number one, so this particular it aimed at aligning insolvency laws, insolvency laws which are prevalent in India, and this we have to ensure that this process, insolvency and bankruptcy process, So which could be at the international standard. Okay, international standard. International standard. Okay. So IBC 2016 aimed at aligning insolvency laws which are prevailing in our country and those which are created earlier 2016. So those particular laws which have to be updated with international standard. So that is the main important purpose for which this particular IBC has created. Clear? Okay. Now, to improve the ease of doing business, okay, to improve the ease of doing business, clear? Ease of doing business in India. So that is also another important objective for which IBC 2016 has been created. So IBC has been created as a formal insolvency resolution process. Is a formal insolvency resolution process against such business entity which has become insolvent. Is it clear? So as a formal insolvency and resolution process that has to be started against such business entities which have become insolvent. Okay, and with a viable survival mechanism. Okay, that is called ease of doing business. Okay, to survive the business entities even though the business entity become insolvent. How to survive? The liquidation is not the final decision. Liquidation is the final the concept. Okay, before that, so there are some mechanisms to be used. There are some strategies to be followed in order to survive, in order to revive the insolvent business entities and ensure the speedy liquidation process. So this is the first important, this is the foremost important aim for which IBC 2016 has been created. Okay, so basically it is a formal insolvency resolution process. Okay, so insolvency resolution process. Okay, for all the businesses to come up with a viable survival mechanism, that is very important. So there are some business entities which could not able to keep up their promises, financial debts, could not able to make out. Okay, so liquidation is the final tool that could be used. Before that, there are certain mechanisms which could be evolved in order to survive the business entity. How to survive the business entity? If not, we go for liquidation. Okay, for such activities, okay, IBC has been created as a formal law. Clear? Okay. So basically this particular act, so information that is insolvency resolution process, so that we bring it out against any individual or against any companies which have become insolvent. Okay, they could not able to make out their financial debts, and they could not able to make out their payment towards the operational creditors. Okay, and so this is also brought limited liability partnership business, or any companies or any individuals or any partnership business or any partnership business, okay, for all these, against all these companies, against all these individuals, or it may be any companies, limited liability partnership business entity and partnership business, against all these companies, against all such companies. Okay, so insolvency resolution process has to be started. For that reason, the formal entity has to be created. A formal, what we call the formal platform has to be created. So that is the reason why we have created IBC 2016. IBC is basically a law which has been put before the parliament and taken approval and brought into effect. Yeah. Okay. So now, so this is the introductory part. ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ, IBC 2016 ಓಕೆ 28 ಮೇ 2016 ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾನೂನು ಅಸ್ತಿತ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇದರ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತ ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಕಾನೂನುಗಳೇನಿದಾವೆ, ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಕಾನೂನುಗಳನ್ನು ಅಟ್ ಪಾರ್ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ಗೆ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೆಲಸ. ಓಕೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ಈಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಲೀಗಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ನ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಬಿಸಿನೆಸ್ ಎಂಟಿಟಿ ಆರ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳ ವಿರುದ್ಧವಾಗಿ, ಈ ಎಗೇನೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್, ಓಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು ಕಾನೂನನ್ನು ನಾವು ತಂದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು IBC 2016 ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Clear? Okay. So let's move on to one more important. Now let's go on understanding some background of this particular the code or entity or code or law. Okay. What is the background? Why this the code has been codified? Code has been brought into effect in 2016. So basically it can be called as IBC 2016. Yeah. Okay. So now let's understand something about the background of this IBC 2016. Okay. So IBC, Insolvency Bankruptcy Law 2016. Okay, so let's understand something about the background of this particular code. Background. Okay. Yes. So basically at the time of 2016, okay, in 2016, bad debts among the banks which has become piling up. Okay, the bad debts, so which is also known as non-performing asset. Okay, the banks have given the loans to the business entity. This particular loan which earns to the banker. So therefore, the loan which has been sanctioned to the business entity, that particular loan is considered as an asset because it gives the return to the banker. Here, it gives the interest. Okay, the loans bring the interest to the banker. Okay, therefore, so this particular loans which can be considered as an asset. If loans are not performing, okay, there is a default on the part of the business entity. The default on the part of the business entity. So this particular loans which have been considered as an asset by the banker not performing. Okay, so this is also known as the bad debt. Is it clear? In 2016, okay, So 56 percentage, it is alarming the data. Okay. The bad debt constitutes 56 percentage of the total bad debts of the nationalized banks. That is very, very important data. 56, okay, out of 100 crore, the loans given by the nationalized banks, okay, 56 crores, it is bad debt. So this is the reason why, so this particular Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code has been created. Okay, so this is the first important background for which, how, why IBC 2016 has started. Okay, now, so one more important, the GRAS NPA, okay, the GRAS bad debt of the bank which has went up 1.12 crores. Is it clear? So GRAS non-performing asset of the banks, especially among the public sector banks. So I'm talking about this particular data which is in 2016. So at this time, so a lot of NPA has piling up among the banks, especially the public sector banks. In order to survive from these public sector banks from this particular crisis, so there is a one formal, the formal legal authority has to be created in order to check so this particular financial crisis among the public sector banks. So just imagine, just see the data, 1 lakh 1,000 crores gross NPA, especially I'm talking about the public sector banks. Okay, so in very next year 16-17, so it has gone up to 2.23 crores, 2.23 lakhs crores, 2.23 lakhs crores. So that is very, very important. It is a huge NPA among the public sector banks. Okay, so this is the reason why, so the public sector banks have to be survived from this particular financial crunch. So that is the reason why the IBC has been created. Number one. Okay. Now, number two. So we talked about NPA. Clear? 56 percentage of the total debt becomes NPA in 2016. 1.12 lakhs crores of bad debts which has been accumulated among the public sector banks in 2016, and by next year it has been doubled, 2.23 lakhs crores bad debts. Okay, so this is the background why this IBC, the strong, the insolvency, the code which has been approved by the parliament. Yeah. Okay. Before bringing into the effect of this particular IBC 2016, so we have in our country the time taken to resolve the insolvency is too much. Okay, to resolve the insolvency among the business entities. Okay, so we have so many laws, multiple laws which are prevailed. Okay, so this particular resolving insolvency process, it took nearly 4 years in India. 4 years to complete the process. 4 years. It's a long process. Okay, it is a long process. It is a long time taken for resolving insolvency. It is too much. Okay, in winding up of the company in our country. So So it was taken resolution process, resolution insolvency. It has taken 4 years. It is a too much the time duration taken under the prevailing such laws. Okay, number one. So number two, when we compare this particular data with that of other foreign countries, okay, in England, it took only 1 year to complete. 1 year, 1 year time taken to complete the insolvency resolution. Okay, but in India it took 4 years. Okay, so there are the recovery proceedings which can be started even by the creditors either through the contract act. Okay, there are several acts which are prevailed. So multiple acts which are prevailed in the recovery process, in the recovery proceedings. Among the such acts, we have recovery of debts due to Banks and Financial Institutions Act of 1993. The securitization and restructuring, reconstruction of the financial assets and enforcement Security Interest Act 2002. Okay, and Indian Partnership Act of 1932, the Banking Company Act of 2013, securitization and restructuring of financial assets and enforcement of Security Interest Act of 2002, Limited Liability Partnership Act 2008, SIC Industrial Companies Repeal Act 2003. All these such the prevailing laws which took long time in the resolution process, insolvency resolution process. Okay, in order to find a resolution in a quick manner. Okay, so in order to find the resolution for this particular insolvency, okay, quickly, very quick manner. Okay, resolution of bankruptcy has to be completed in a fraction of months. Okay, so that is the reason. So and moreover, so there are a lot of these the prevailing laws. There is a lack of clarity of the jurisdiction of each and every current regulatory authorities. That is also one of the important problem. Okay, so that is the reason why, in order to bring insolvency resolution in a quick manner, insolvency resolution has to be completed within a stipulated time. That is the reason why IBC 2016 has been started. Okay, yeah. So as I told you, according to the World Bank report, average time taken in our country to resolve insolvency is 4 years, as I told you already. And in Singapore, it has taken 8 months. In Singapore, it is just 8 months to complete resolution of insolvency. Okay, so 1 year in London. So this is in India. So this is London, the Great Britain. 8 months time taken in resolution process, resolution of insolvency in Singapore. Okay, so these are the reasons why this particular 2016 insolvency bankruptcy law has brought into effect. Yeah, okay. Saidre, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಮ್ಮ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಅವಲೋಕನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದಂಗೆಲ್ಲ 2016ರಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಡೆಟ್ಸ್, ಟೋಟಲ್ ಡೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 56% ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಡೆಟ್ಸ್, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಅಮಾಂಗ್ ದಿ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, SBI and its other subsidiaries, right? Okay. 1,12,1 1-2 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕೋಟಿ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್. ಒಂಥರ ಡೇಟಾಸ್ ನೋಡಿದಂಗೆಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಭಯ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ 2016 ಒಂದು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಇತ್ತು, ಕ್ರಮೇಣ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಯಿತು. ಬಟ್ ಸೊ ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಟೈಮ್. 1 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕೋಟಿ, 1 ಲಕ್ಷ ಕೋಟಿ ಓಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಡೆಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ ಇನ್ 2016. ವೆರಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ 2017, 2.23 lakhs crores ಬ್ಯಾಡ್ ಡೆಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ. ಇದು ಒಂದು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ನಾವು ಅವಲೋಕನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋದಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ರೆಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ಇದು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ಹಿಡಿತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್, ಸೊ ದ ವೆರಿ ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟ್ಲಿ ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ bad debt, the financial crunch among the public sector banks have to be checked. Okay, so that is the reason, one important background. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕಡೆ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಈ ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ರೆಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನ 4 ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಕಾಲ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಹಲವಾರು ಕಾನೂನುಗಳಿದ್ವು, ಹಲವಾರು ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ರೆಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಲವಾರು ಕಾನೂನುಗಳಿದ್ವು. ಆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾನೂನುಗಳನ್ನು ಕ್ರೋಢೀಕರಣ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕಾನೂನು, ಕ್ವಿಕ್ ರೆಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ, ಓಕೆ, ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಿಕ್ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅದರಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಮಾರಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಹಣವನ್ನು ಈ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹಂಚತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕೆಲಸನ 4 ವರ್ಷಗಳು ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಲಂಡನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ 1 year, 1 yearಗೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ರೆಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡೇಷನ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಆ ಲಿಕ್ವಿಡೇಷನ್ ಬಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಹಣವನ್ನು ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹಂಚ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಸಿಂಗಪುರಲ್ಲಿ ಜಸ್ಟ್ 8 months. ಸೊ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ಕಾರಣ. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಟು ರಿಸಾಲ್ವ್ ದ ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ. 4 years. It is a long time. The creditors could not able to wait for such a long duration to get back their debts, to get back their finance. Clear? So this is the particular the background why this IBC has been created. Artha aita? Okay. Now, so let us come to the very important the concept. Okay, so yeah, so now let us jump into the particular concept and understanding the meaning and how this particular code will be working, how the resolution process will be happening, how the liquidation of the insolvent company has to be brought. Okay, yeah, okay, IBC, let it be this heading, IBC 2016. So Dr. J.J. Irani, okay, under the leadership of Dr. J.J. Irani, a committee has been constituted by the Government of India in order to study how effectively, how formally we could able to bring one such law, okay, and aligning the existing multi laws in the process of insolvency resolution against insolvent business. Okay, so this particular committee, it has been given the recommendation to establish a formal and strong code from which we can able to solve this particular issue of liquidating the insolvent company. Okay, now let's try to understand this particular concept with an example. Okay, yeah, okay, so as I told you, so there are financial creditors, right? Financial creditors, So basically, the financial creditors are the financial institutions like banks, okay, and they have given the money. They have given the money to the business. Yeah, they have given the loan as money. Yeah, number one. So number two. So this is number one. Number two, operational creditors. Operational creditors. Okay. Operational creditors, as I told you, the employees of the business, the people who have supplied the raw materials for the business. There are some other entities which have been provided the raw material for the business. They have to get the payment. So these people are the service providers. These people are service providers. Okay. Services provided by the operational creditors towards the business. Financial creditors who have been given the money for the business. Clear? And just imagine, or just take an example. So these two financial creditors and as well as service providers to the business. Okay, so suppose ABC Company Limited. ABC Company Limited. So this particular ABC Company Limited has in default. That means they are not in a position to make the payment for the financial creditors, whatever the debts they have taken from them. Debt obligation could not able to fulfill. Number one. Employees who have given the service for the company from the last 3 or 4 months, they have not given the salary. So there is another important financial obligation. The payment has to be made for the raw material suppliers, and there are some contractors, and there are some service providers like raw material suppliers and experts who have given the expertise services to the business. So they have to get the payment, okay, for the services rendered. Okay, so these two are the people. So they have to get their payment. Okay, financial institutions have to get their back. They have to get back their money that has been lent to the ABC Company Limited. Operational creditors, out of the business operations, they have rendered number of services to the ABC Company Limited. ABC Company Limited has to make the payment for these operational creditors, but it is not in a position to make the payment for them. So this is the concept. Okay. So then, who can give the complaint against ABC Company Limited? That is the question. Now, who can give the complaint? Who can give a complaint? Who can give a complaint? Number one, that is a question. Who can give a complaint? Okay. Under this section 10 of the IBC 2016, under the section 10 of the IBC 2016, okay, the debtor he himself can go for winding up of the business. Okay, so he can request the authorities to start insolvency resolution process. He himself can give a complaint. Here, the company itself can give a complaint because company is telling the authorities, I am completely dissolved. I am completely in a position to winding up my company. I could not able to make out. I could not do the continuous business for the longer duration. I have fed up. Okay. So then the company itself, the debtor, he himself can go with insolvency resolution process. Okay. So the number one, as per the section 10 of the IBC 2016. Clear? Next, number two, under the section 7 of the IBC 2016, the financial creditors can give a complaint against ABC company and bring insolvency resolution process. Okay? Under the section 7 of the IBC 2016, financial creditors can give a complaint against insolvent ABC company to the authority. Then they can start insolvency resolution process. Clear? Okay. Number three. So even operational creditors, contractors, employees, raw material suppliers, and other service providers. So they all come under the operational creditors. Okay. So under section 9 of the IBC 2016, so they can give a complaint against ABC company. So this is so very important concept. We need to understand very clearly. Okay. ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ JJ ಇರಾನಿ ಇವರ ಒಂದು ಅಧ್ಯಕ್ಷತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕಮಿಟಿಯನ್ನು ನೇಮಕ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಕ್ವಿಕ್ ರೆಸಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಕ್ವಿಕ್ ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ರೆಸಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್. ಇದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರವಾಗಿ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ JJ ಇರಾನಿ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಫಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕಾಯ್ದೆ ತರಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ರೆಕಮೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಲಿ IBC came into existence, IBC came into effect on 2016. Clear? Okay. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವೇನ್ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕರ್ಸ್. ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಮನಿ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಲವಾಗಿ ABC ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್. ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಆಪರೇಷನಲ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ತಮ್ಮ ಕೆಲಸ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳ ಮುಖಾಂತರವಾಗಿ they have provided some services to the ABC company limited. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ರಾ ಮಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ಸಪ್ಲೈಯರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, whoever it is, the people ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಸೇವೆಗಳನ್ನು ಒದಗಿಸಿರ್ತಾರೆ. they have to get the payment. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್? ಆ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ ಒದಗಿಸಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ so they have to get the payment obviously. Okay, but they are not getting the payment on time from the ABC company limited. They are called as operational creditors. Okay, ಇಂತಹ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ABC ಕಂಪನಿಯ ವಿರುದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ಯಾರೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು? Okay, IBC 2016 ಪ್ರಕಾರವಾಗಿ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 10 ಅಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪನಿ ABC ಕಂಪನಿ itself can go and request before the authority. Okay, before the authority, ಈ ಕಂಪನಿ ಇಟ್ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಹುದು, ನಾನಿನ್ನು ಈ ಒಂದು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂದುವರಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ಸಾಲ್ವೆನ್ಸಿ ರೆಸಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಾನು ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮುಚ್ಚು ಸ್ಥಿತಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಹುದು. ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 10 ಆಫ್ ದಿ IBC 2016 ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಯಾರೋ ಡೆಟರ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು, ದ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಹೂ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ದ ಲೋನ್, ABC company limited. Okay. Under section 7, ಈ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹಣ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಗೆ, ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ, ABC ಕಂಪನಿ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ಗೆ ಸಾಲದ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಣ ಏನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರಲ್ವಾ, ಅವರು ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕರ್ಸ್, ಓಕೆ, ಅಥಾರಿಟಿ ಮುಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಈ ಕಂಪನಿ ವಿರುದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬಹುದು. Then the authority will be, or court authority will be starting the insolvency resolution process. ಅದು ಒಂದು. ಈ ಒಂದು ಆಪರೇಷನಲ್ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 9 ಅಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 9 IBC 2016 ಇದರ ಅಡಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಯಾರ ವಿರುದ್ಧ? ABC ಕಂಪನಿ ವಿರುದ್ಧ. So this is something about the very important concept that we need to understand very clearly. Okay, so that is called as the insolvency resolution process could be brought, could be requested by these three people. One is debtor, financial creditors, and operational creditors. Clear? Yeah. Okay. So dear friends, so let me stop here, and so remaining the concepts under the IBC 2016 we could able to discuss in the next part 2 of IBC 2016. Okay. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.